गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड इवनिंग, गुड आफ्टरनून। बिकॉज मैं इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ बिकॉज आई डोंट नो वेदर आप ये कब वीडियो देखने वाले हैं। एंड टुडे वी आर प्रिविलेज्ड टू हैव वन ऑफ द मोस्ट एंड वेरी हम्बल पर्सनालिटी ऑफ द Indian fund management industry. He is basically a chief executive officer and the chief investment officer of ITI Mutual Fund, and not only that, but now he's on the board of ITI Limited as well. And this shows the kind of credential and the authenticity of the person to whom we are interacting today. Mr. George Haber Joseph is a good friend and a very humble person. And what is most important is that since the 2 decades of experience into the fund management industry, today we're going to come to know so many inside of his life and his thought process about the fund management. Not only that, he gives one of the best products also to the industry and the thought process. What is important is the thought process when you give to the industry that shows that set the benchmark for the people and the entire peers of the industry per se. And that is how actually the multi-dynamic and multifaceted personality what Mr. George Heber Joseph is. Sir, welcome to the show, sir. And thank you very much for sparing the
Thank you,
time.
Gajbej. Thank you, Gajbej Sahab. It is very heartening to talk to you after a long time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, without wasting the time, sir, today coming to the very important point that you are in last, you are the man of accountancy, you're the CA, you're the cost accountant, and all. But then, what is that which tempt you to become the fund manager? And what is that which actually tempt the aspect of money which tempt you keep paisa Q? Just the flip side of your life.
Yeah. For many people might not know that I have an arts background also. Right. So
Oh, great.
generally we say that arts and science is what the stock market is all about. Uh,
Yes.
I have an arts and science background as well.
Great.
I have done my graduation in commerce and as well as in English
Mhm.
language and literature, and
Wow.
also till 12th I was studying physics,
Great.
chemistry, maths as well. All right.
Great.
So I was a PCM student who shifted to
Oh.
commerce and then did my English language and literature. So while
Mhm.
I was in 10th, my father used to tell me a lot of about stock markets. He was an economics graduate, and
Uh-huh.
he was a first rank holder in the Kerala University. Uh,
Wow.
and also he has done his masters in English language, PhD, and everything he
Wow.
has done in English language.
Wow.
So he used
Wow.
to teach a lot of basics of economics. What is the microeconomics, macroeconomics, how the GDP is linked to various aspects of life. Various things he used to teach while we were very small kids, and that's how we have grown up. And in 10th, while I was studying my 10th standard, I figured out that my father used to invest in stock markets. So I was asking
Oh.
him, what exactly you're doing in stock markets, and every day prices are changing. At that time, there was no CNBC or anything of that sort. So he was looking at
Mm.
the Hindu business page, Hindu newspaper
Uh-huh.
business page, which has all the stock tickers. For you used to say that these prices keep changing. For it was a little bit inquisitive why the prices keep changing. So I was asking various questions, and that is how the entire journey started. So in 10th, just after 10th, he gave me some money to invest also.
Acha, after 10th only.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he told me,
Great.
because I was considered as the finance manager of my house.
Oh,
uh,
acha.
my father used to give his salary, my mom used to give his salary, and I used to manage the house.
My God. Great.
From seventh standard onwards, that was the theme at home, right? So I was very diligent about money at from
This is
that
a flip
time.
side of George. So nobody knows.
I used to be very careful about money from that time. I used to have all the money in my pocket while going to college. Not even 50 paisa I used to spend from of the, because I know the liabilities. What are the things which I need to do,
क्या
right?
बात है.
And later on, he gave me some money also, and he said, in my trading account, you can buy, sell shares, whatever you feel like, with the same
Hmm.
broker with whom he used to interact with. So
All
that's how
right.
the entire thing started.
Great.
1991, the Harshit Mehta boom was happening, and I was fully involved in the markets at that point in time.
Oh. Oh.
I used to go to the exchange, stock exchange also, to see the outcry concept and things like that. But it was a very, very interesting time. ACC touching 10,000. I've seen on the Bombay scan, right? So it was an amazing period.
Great.
But later on, from the when the crash happened, the stock price of ACC fell from 10,000 to 1,500, right, in a year's time. So I realized the basics. I was investing during that time. I had some stocks in my mind which I wanted to buy, and which I bought, which fell 1/4 in a year's time. So I realized that it's not an easy game. You have to learn many things. But I bought the first stock which I bought was a company, consumer durable company. Carrier Aircon was the name of the stock,
अच्छा.
which was Carrier ACs banate hai in
हाँ.
and globally they were the leaders in not
Hmm.
only in ACs, in home appliances. There was
Hmm.
I read a Business India article and I went and bought the stock. But eventually that stock also fell down from 88 rupees to 26 rupees. Right. I realized that it is not very easy. But eventually I went and did my CA, CW and all those things basically to understand the markets better, to appreciate the financials of the companies better. So I went and did CA not because I wanted to do CA. It was mainly to understand the financials of the companies better. I went and did CA. So it was a very different method at which I approached chartered accountancy course. For before
Wow.
going to accountancy course, while I was doing my BCom itself, I used to read annual reports. I used to understand maybe half of things I would not have understood, but many things I used to pick it up, and I used to ask my friends. And when I was doing my degree first year, my father died of heart attack. For
I'm sorry. Hmm.
since then, I was a few principles which he told me at that point. And when you ask me what is the flip side of it, in terms of money, he told me very clearly that you don't run after money. Money will come automatically. You just do the right things, be ethical in your approach. Automatically, money will come. That is not an issue. For that principles always followed me while I was in my entire professional career also. When people do something nasty, I always be away from that, and I think that this is not my cup of tea, which I cannot afford to have it. And I believe in karma also. Whatever you do here, it will happens in, you will get the responses in this world itself, right?
Right.
Do the right things, be ethical, be transparent, and try to make money for investors. It is a very thrilling game. Ultimately, you understand it's if you in short run it is definitely is a zero sum game, but in the long run, if the companies you understand, it grows in scale, size, and create wealth, then it's a big money making compounding game also. So I strongly believe in the stock market. It's not a gamble, definitely not. It's a long-term wealth creation tool. Very clearly, if you are approaching it
Hmm.
that way,
Hmm.
a lot of money to be made from the markets. So I'm privy to I can clearly say that in the last 30 years of investing has taught me so many things, which makes me which has made me every passing year a better investor. That what all mistakes I would have done in 90s, I will never do in 2000s. And in 2020 when we are, definitely I will not do many things which I would not have done. For like the fancy for IPOs, fancy for various things, it doesn't come into the entire investment philosophy though. So overall, I have become a mature investor, let me tell you. You know that what emotions also swings very less
True.
when people shouts at you, you are wrong, and all those things. We know that what 30 years has taught you many things. You know that things will fall in place, and eventually people will start praising at some point in time. So
So true.
I know that those are the things which you have to be nimble-footed, and market is a leveler also. You cannot be overconfident. You cannot be. Market will teach you the lessons properly. So don't go. Have the proper risk management framework. All these things has been part and parcel of my investing thing. So money making. When I think about a lot of investors in India, who are hard-earned money they are putting, they don't know the right avenues of investing. My endeavor is that how can I create an institution which will enable many investors, small investors from nooks and corners of the country can invest and create wealth for themselves. Can I be a instrumental factor for that? For that motto, I am working for. There's a lot of fun in the whole thing. When I think about the long-term equity fund, the small money from different parts of the country comes in, and that has the largest number of investors. It gives me a lot of
True.
joy also.
So that is how the definition of money is for you. That's something great. Now, sir, lot many people are the more crux of the market that people want to know and listen from you. That bazaar abhi aapko kya lagta hai? That is how actually I come directly straight to the point.
Yeah, I
Your view about the market and
yeah, for,
which sector you are bullish on and why?
markets goes through ups and downs in the near term, but ultimately in the long term, if you see Nifty chart, things are very pretty clear, right? In 5-year, 10-year, 20-year, 30-year graph is only one way upwards. So it clearly suggests that, the Nifty which started, or, Sensex which started in the year 1980, 1976, and 1984, it became, the official index. From there, it has become 50,000 index, which suggests that 52,000 index means 520 times it has multiplied, right?
True.
So it is like a massive compounding story.
True.
So on long term, equities will give you good compounding return, even if you are investing in the index itself, right? But if you are investing in a good quality fund, you will get much higher than that, right? To my mind, today, for when people are having a lot of confusion, that
Yes.
just keep a 3 to 5 year window always in place while you're coming to equities. If you're investing into debt, keep at least 1 year window. If you're coming to equity, you have at least 3 year plus window. Then things are much clearer in your mind, because in 3 years or 5 years near term, definitely equity is a very volatile asset class. One day it might go down, one day it goes up. People lose all their patience seeing the volatility. But in the long run, volatility subsides, and equity is a fantastic asset class to make money, right? If you see Sensex from 100 to 52,000, whether it was a straight line, definitely the answer is no. In between,
Absolutely.
there was a lot of volatility. Now,
True.
my view, next 5 years is going to be a brilliant time to be investing into equities. And I think India coming out of a lull period of growth, and getting into the good earnings growth scenario, the quantum of returns that you would have seen in the last 10 years, the next 10 years, what return markets will give will be phenomenally different, right? Last 10 years, the earnings growth was, 5-6% CAGR. Next 10 years is going to be much higher than that. To my mind, the big returns in equities is yet to come, right? And next 4 to 5 years, you will see that compounding also in most of the sectors and stocks, especially relating to the cyclical sectors, be it banks, be it banks or commodities, auto, infrastructure, capital goods, real estate, all these sectors which are beneficiaries of, auto is to a lesser extent, but most other sectors which are beneficiaries of the inflation in the economy, as well as, the GDP growth compounding. GDP growth, 10% plus GDP growth, when have you seen in the past? This year, 2021-22, you are going to see 10% plus GDP growth. RBI is talking about 12.5%.
सर बेस इफेक्ट नहीं होगा because of base effect it is actually coming.
Yeah, base effect is one factor. Base effect में तो grow भी नहीं कर सकते. It can be without growth also, right? Or less growth also. If it is an anemic situation, it can be less growth also. Base effect is one part. Base effect is only contributing very, very small percentage. But actually, the fact of the matter is that the economy is coming out of the lull period. Government has taken a lot of strong reforms. Nobody is appreciating it at this point. Be it RERA, be it GST. You will see the significant tailwinds of those reforms in the coming years. And that is what, is the crux of the, markets is. But if you ask me, what is that you're thinking the next 5 years? I think the 5 years, the markets will be significantly rewarding. And mid and small caps as a segment will do wonders in my view. So it is a space.
You are almost bullish since last 2 years in mid and small cap. मैं जब से देख रहा
It
हूँ
has not yet run. In between COVID came, and markets. To my mind, the mid and small caps have not started moving only, even today.
Sir, even after giving the 100% return.
Yeah, 100% what you're talking about from the bottom, right?
But
if
yes.
you see January, February 2020 is when we did the small cap NFO. And since then, the NAVs have not moved up much, maybe 30% or whatever. But I believe that, 30% के लिए तो आप, small cap में invest करते हो ना. You invest for a bigger returns, right? And the quantum of returns which can come in the next 5 years can be fabulous in the category. Right? For small caps will be the highest return generator in 5 years, followed by mid caps and then large caps. And that will be the nature. And overall the markets will give you very, very stupendous returns, because the earnings growth is going to be the biggest driver for the markets. Now, near term, corona cases increasing and people are worried. These kind of things. First wave, we expected the second wave to happen much earlier, and we were a little bit soft at that point in time, which didn't happen at that point in time. But now the second wave is hitting us. Maybe third wave will be there, fourth wave will be there. But the point is that whether the lockdown is going to be as severe as March 2020, answer is no. So economy, whether it's going to have the material impact like March 2020, the answer is no. So I'm very bullish on the economy at this point in time. I can see all the structural tailwinds going to benefit us very, very clearly in the coming years. And therefore, this is not the time to be underweight in equity and sitting idle. This is the time to invest and make money in the next 5 years.
All right.
So it is pretty clear in my mind. And if you miss it, you will regret it 5 years later. That also I can tell you.
Oh. So this is a cautious for the people those are listening, right? कि मैं बाहर बैठा हूँ equity में, अरे भाई चलो पहले जो सबने बोला पैसा डालो.
Yeah. I think it is the time to invest very clearly. Now it is up to your risk appetite. How much money you want to invest. Don't invest the money which you want in next 6 months time or 1 year's time. Invest the money which you can spare for next 3 years, 5 years. Then your experience will be superb.
Great. Sir, जैसे आपने बताया कि you're the student of art and science. So it is said that money management is a combination of art and science. You already said, and you are the man of accounts. So how do you discover that art? That's what the inside crux which today I want you to reveal to the listeners and the viewers.
Yeah, well, it is, I would say that it is a lot of it is a passion which you follow. For me, fund management or equity research is as good as, I am following my passion. Like Sachin Tendulkar, if he's batting, he feels that, he's going to play his game, right? And the same way, every day when I'm going to office, I feel that, my company is paying me salary for following my passion. Right. So it is a very different mood altogether. And I've seen many people don't take in that spirit. They take it as a job. When you take it as a job, it becomes very, very monotonous, because you have to deal with the numbers, you have to deal with the stocks, you have to deal with the prices, volatility, you have to deal with so many things. Then, it can actually bog you down. Many people, after doing their MBA and, various other higher degrees, and, because of their pedigree, they've come and join this particular profession, and later on they realize that this is not my cup of tea, right? And even because the smartest of the smartest people also might fail in this game, because it is a lot of mind game, and a lot of it is your discipline that you follow, and also the risk mitigation which you have to continuously follow in your portfolios, which is very important. Because if 100 rupees becomes 50 rupees, it's 50% loss. Now 50 to become 100, you have to make 100% return.
Yes.
Right. So if you lose money, that's why Warren Buffett also clearly says, don't lose money and don't forget the rule number 1. Because if you forget the rule number 1, then you make losses. And if you make losses, then to recover that becomes very difficult. If you lose your capital, how will you make money?
Right.
So, my approach has been, and to me, it is a very, very clearly my passion. And 24/7, I can read anytime. I can read about markets, and I can read about the investment books, or I can be very, very glued on to these aspects without any. Even on a holiday, I can read something which is interesting relating to markets or things like that. So it might not be everyone's cup of tea. Secondly, the biggest point is that while looking at companies and stocks, what you have to understand is that you are buying a good business, right? When you are saying equity share, basically you are buying a share of a business, right? And when you buy a share of business, what you have to do, whether the business is going to do well,
yes,
the business is going to grow, whether it's a small business is going to become very big, Those assumptions you have to make it, and ultimately the strength of the business has to be understood.
Right.
To understand the strengths, obviously you have to look at numbers, you have to look at various other aspects, qualitative as well as quantitative aspects are there involved. So I would say, some sort of good finance degree helps you to start, looking at these things. But ultimately, you have to follow it as a passion to be very, very successful in the whole thing. For to my mind, it is a very interesting profession, and it gives you a lot of every day. It's a challenge you have to face.
Great. So going a little bit of deeper, so when you decide to buy the business in the portfolio, which you choose, what are those key points which you finalize कि नहीं ये points है जिसके वजह से मैंने इस stocks को मेरे portfolio में लेना चाहिए?
Right. So, Gajbhai Sahab, if you remember, we have put out in the investment philosophy very clearly. Our investment philosophy clearly suggests that, SQL.
SQL.
SQL is nothing but, what I believe in core, in the fund management as well as, selecting the stocks. So the company, S means, the margin of safety. Margin of safety is basically you buy the stocks cheap. Right. So if you don't buy cheap, obviously you cannot sell expensive, right? So you have to buy cheap to sell it expensive. For first, you have to buy it cheap. For buy it cheap in the sense very, very attractive valuation. That is the first priority. If as an investor, you have to do that. When whatever you buy, when you go and buy in Amazon or you buy everywhere, you try to buy things cheap, right? So same thing, same approach has to be there in markets also. But generally, what happens is people run away when the markets are becoming cheap, and whenever markets are becoming expensive, people get enthused and go and invest. So
The flop.
this is exactly opposite of what you do in Amazon website. For
Agree.
to my mind, buying cheap is very important as an investor. Second is, good quality business you have to buy cheap. If you buy cheap, crap, it will not work, right? For you have to buy good businesses which can compound, which can grow, which can scale up, good management, good promoters, and good history. That's why I don't jump into an IPO, because you don't know the history of the company. Let it get listed, let it create some history. Because you ultimately I'm dealing with my public money. If I'm doing only playing with my money, I can punt on one IPO. Right. I can say that, this money, my risk appetite, I know very well. I know that, I can, but when I'm dealing with public money, I have to be sure that, what I'm putting is, in the right set of companies. I don't want to take risk on, the company going bankrupt and company giving me fraudulent statements, and I'm believing that and all. Today, if you see many IPOs, they are coming without even the consolidated balance sheet published in the DRHP. Right?
Oh my God.
Their standalone balance sheets are not published. Only consolidated balance sheets are available. How do you
Oh.
understand what is there in the standalone balance sheet?
Hmm.
So without these kind of disclosures, you go and buy a company, whereas, on the market, in the market, you are getting 20-year history companies. There are 10-year history companies, 15-year history companies are available at a very cheap valuation. You are not buying that, and you're buying the IPO. What is the point of doing this? So I don't understand, if you can't buy the companies which are listed and being there for 15, 20 years and, available cheap, then how can you make money in IPOs? For
Very, very valid point. Very valid point.
we just avoid IPOs unless it is coming from a very strong group where we have some history. Then we evaluate it. Otherwise, we discuss all IPOs, but it is not in our coverage at all. So it is basically you buy good business. That is the second part. Third is that you buy low leverage companies. Whenever the mistakes I have done in the last 30 years, whichever companies have gone bankrupt, maybe Jindal Vijayanagar Steel or Jindal Strips or various companies which I have bought and then it became bankrupt. When I look at the problem was that when I bought those stocks and there was no debt, then the debt was increasing. I didn't pay much attention to the debt increase. And later on the company became bankrupt, because the debt is a double-edged sword. If the leverage is increasing, the company can actually go into, and if a bad business cycle comes in, which can be because of COVID, or it can be because of, RERA or GST, or because of a demand, anything can happen, or, maybe a calamity, the company can go bankrupt, right? So in that sense, leverage is a double-edged sword. For be away from most of the leverage companies. That's why if you look at my portfolios, most of the time I am very careful about dealing with the banking and financial sector.
Yes, I know.
Banking and financial sector is a leverage sector. It is always 7 times to 13 times leverage companies.
Yes.
So if something or the other happens to the economy, banking stocks fall like a pack of cards. Right. So and today the index is significantly having significant weight for banking sector. Like banking and financial services is almost 40% of the index, which itself to me looks like a risk. There are very good businesses otherwise which are not leveraged you can buy, but just because it is 40% is banks, people are all flocking into banks.
Right.
In our portfolios, you will not see, we are any point in time we will not be overweight. At the best, if you think the economy is going to do extremely well, we might maximum be equal weight. But equal weight itself is a big challenge in the banking sector, according to me,
True.
because it's a highly leveraged sector. So if you see in the recent past also, since we were away from the banking stocks to a certain degree, this entire fall, we were very, very smoothly handling the situation.
Right.
We believe that, that is leverage has to be controlled for safety, margin of safety, quality of the business, and low leverage are the key things which has to be looked into. Either you buy a bond or you buy an equity. It is very, very critical. If you don't pay attention to these three factors, then you can make big mistakes. Hello?
All right. Sir, what you gave, hello, my voice is there, sir?
Yeah.
So you almost gave a very different thought process per se, the BAF product to the industry, and then you built one of the best BAF in the industry, that also, and very, very different thought process in small and mid cap also, which is your favorite one. So when it comes to now coming to the ITA multi-cap and ITA BAF, what is your philosophy, thought process, and what scale you are looking these two products?
Yeah, for actually, Gajbeh Saab, basically, we are not thinking about scale at all. We are thinking about the product has to be run in its own merit. Right. For we collected almost 165 crores in Balance Advantage Fund.
Yes.
And today it is nearer to 200 crores, 190
Right.
200 crores.
Right.
And the way the product has been constructed is in a very unique fashion. If you look at the entire sector, entire industry, in the mutual fund industry, there are various BAF available.
Yes.
Right. So the first BAF actually was introduced. That model was introduced by me while I was in my previous organization.
Yes.
And I worked very hard on that product, and we ensured that the product is scalable, the product is meeting the need of an investor. So when I look back today, I feel really thrilled because the product has become a category by itself in the SEBI
Yes.
parlance,
Yes.
right? So it became Balance Advantage as a category, it became, and later on, when I look at the product also, the way it has scaled up, from a very small AUM, it has become the largest AUM for that fund house.
Yes.
To my mind, that basically happened because it is meeting a need of an investor. For what we have done in the ITA mutual fund is, we have looked at the entire thought process of BAF in much more detail. We did a lot of homework, we did a lot of research, and we have come up with a product which can potentially, take half the risk of Nifty, and but in a long term horizon, it can give the better returns maybe than Nifty also. Right. So that is the kind of approach that product has. Now, if you look at all the BAFs in the industry as of today, most of them are run with a certain parameters.
Right.
And some of them are run at 80% equity level. Some of them are run at 77%, 60%. So it has become a little bit of chaos for the investor to understand which is taking as the right risk, and which is giving the right return. So without risk, no return possible. For
Yeah.
somebody who is taking a higher risk and in a good market phase, he will show higher return. So that doesn't mean that that product is best, right? For or the fund which has taken lower risk and lower return, and in a period of a big upswing in bull market, the fund has done underperformed the rest of the funds, doesn't mean that that fund is bad. So my view is, what we have thought through is that it is a product which is meant for people who are looking for FD plus kind of returns, right? And who can actually park the money and see that their that money is compounding at 8 to 12% CAGR kind of
All right.
situation. And if and for that, what all needs to be done? For what we looked at is, one is the valuation is a key parameter on which the fund works. Is a price to book valuation. Price to book valuation is the best metric in the stock markets to look at across sectors and across companies. For that, we are pretty much sure that is a valuation metric which we are using. Secondly, the the model looks at the earnings growth. Now, the phase what we are in is the earnings growth phase. The economy is going to grow, 10%, 12% GDP growth is going to come, right? In that scenario, the earnings growth matters. For we have added that as a particular factor in the model, which was not there when I made the model initially, in my previous design. Thirdly, what we have done is, we have looked at the volatility, because volatility is the near-term risk, right? For volatility in currency, commodity, debt, and equity. For all four volatilities we look at, and based on which that it will give some insights to invest into equities. For all three put together, the fund invests into equity, and daily basis, it rebalance and ensure that the fund has a very smooth experience over long term. Now, there will be periods where we need to reduce the risk materially, but the reducing the risk materially is not a function of only equity weightage. It is a function of the beta that you run in the portfolio also, right? For example, ultimately beta is the risk, right? So what kind of beta you run? Now, if you have a lot of financial services stocks in the portfolio and you are running the equity level at 30%, and there is another fund which is having a lot of pharmaceuticals and IT sector stocks or FMCG stocks, and the equity level is 30%. The risk is very different, right? The one which is having a lot of financial services stocks is having a higher risk compared to the other 30%. So people look at 30% equity level and we feel comfortable, but that is not correct. Maybe the other fund will have 60% equity level also, but it might be having the beta maybe 0.6. So it is as good as or 0.5. Then it's as good as 30 effective equity level is only 30%. The other one is that you are having 30% equity level and you are running it at 1.5 times beta.
True.
Then you might be running it actually effective equity level is 45%.
Yes.
So basically, there is you have to control risk. For risk is another thing which we look at it, depending upon the market situation, valuation, volatility, as well as the earnings growth scenario. We keep adjusting the beta of the portfolio. For just by looking at the equity level, people get perturbed. For financial advisors, investment advisors, as well as the mutual fund distributors, I keep telling them that you look at the beta of the portfolio, because the portfolio beta suggests you what risk that you are carrying. True. Not the equity level per se. So we look at all these aspects and run it, and our endeavor is that on a 3-year, 4-year window, the fund will generate the desired returns what we are envisaging, and be relevant in the category, rather than going chasing someone who is running at a very high equity level, and don't look at all those aspects. Run the product systematically and meet the need of that investor on a 3-year, 4-year window. Then automatically the merit will be seen by everyone.
So, are you making this product for the retirement per se, retirement wala product, something like that?
Yeah, for it is
the thought process.
Yeah, thought process is that it has to be less volatile. It has to be consistently generating returns, and it has to be meeting the needs of a retirement guy who is looking for an annuity or SWP from his investments, or a person who is thinking about FD plus kind of return. Right?
Something like that.
Yeah. So I want if the fund, say for example, hypothetically, if the fund generates 9% CAGR,
Right.
and you are the SWP is 7% CHR. Still, your corpus is growing by 2%, right,
Actually.
every year.
Hmm.
So that is the endeavor that we have in this product. We are not looking for any big high, a very high return in a big bull market. That is not the thought process. Thought process is that it consistently generates a reasonably good FD plus kind of returns,
Hmm.
and with a lesser risk, right?
Good.
So that people don't see any big drawdowns and big. So unfortunately, what happened in our case, after we launched the BAF in December 2000, in January 2020,
Yeah.
immediately after that, in 2 months' time, the COVID happened, right?
Yes.
And so our NAV was not about 10 rupees or 15 rupees or 16 rupees. Then COVID would have happened. The NAV would not have gone below 10 rupees. But since it happened in 2 months' time, the NAV went down. Now it is hovering nearer to 10 rupees. And I am sure that, over a period of next 2 years, people will realize the merit of the product, and you will see that, how it is generating the returns, what it is required to be generated.
ग्रेट ग्रेट और आईटीआई मल्टी कैप को कहाँ लेके जाने वाले सर आप बैप पे तो काफी बात कर ली
Yeah, so I think, see, BAF as well as Multicap, every product we run it its own merit. And Multicap is a flagship product for us. It's the first product. And, for example, in the last 6 months, it has been doing well. And prior to that, from June to August, we were running a little bit safely because we were worried at that point in time the COVID second wave might happen, but it has happened now. So these are things which we can't predict. But at the same time, we need to be careful at different points in time when we think that the economy's recovery is not visible. So we took a pause at that point in time. Then again, September onwards, we saw that the economy is recovering sensibly. Then we increased the aggression in the portfolio. So I believe that this is a product which can compound at a very, very decent rate. And it can create, my endeavor is that a 3-year window, it should generate an alpha of 3% plus per year is what, we are looking at. So on a 3-year basis, we will achieve what is to be achieved there.
so let me be again congratulate you sir that you achieved 1500 crore AUM also in a very short span of time इसमें से एक साल तो आपका पूरा कोविड ने खा लिया but still like you people are growing very nicely and the entire team is working tirelessly for the betterment of the every single and small retail investors. That's what actually how you say yourself as a long-term wealth creator. So, एक बहुत important, हाँ, yes, you're saying something.
Yeah, so interestingly, Gajbhai Sahab, the key thing what we look at is, you asked me earlier also, what is the scale that you're looking at? So the
Yes.
scale, I think the scale will not be an issue at all if you run the product with its own merit. And I've seen that happening in front of my eyes in the case of BAF in my previous organization also.
Yes.
Right. So if you manage it well, and also if you do the right things for the product, and look at, always take care of the investors' interest on the priority, I think the scale will be a function of all these things. But to my mind, scale will not be an issue at all, and our endeavor is that to do the to manage the product in the best way possible and ensure the investors are taken care with utmost care, right? So that investors will vouch for the product, saying, I take a BAF may invest kar do, then chinda, you don't need to bother about anything. So that kind of aspect is what I am looking at. So I am not looking at an AUM number, I have to reach this level and all those things. But that will happen automatically. So to my mind, for next 10 years, as a fund house here, we have clearly mentioned that we want to be in the top 10 mutual funds in the country. So in terms of, the customer experience as well as investor experience, we want to be in the top 10.
Wow, great, amazing. So एक थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल इसमें जा रहा हूँ सर, व्यूअर्स को ये समझने में थोड़ी सी आसानी होगी दैट कैश फ्लो इज द किंग एंड कैश रिच ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस गेट्स ऑलवेज द प्रीमियम in the market. So how this please throw some light that power of understanding the cash flow and when you're actually managing the portfolio.
Yeah, so sir, basically what you said is absolutely right, but these are all phases of the market. Ultimately, businesses have to be run sensibly. And there are different types of businesses in the country, right? For there are defensive businesses, which are like pharma, FMCG businesses, which doesn't need too much of capital to be invested in the business. You invest a limited amount of capital and you get higher return on capital employed. For whatever money you put, 1,000 rupees अपने business में डाल दिया, आपको 25 to 30% हर साल बनाते रहेंगे उसमें. For 30% ROE, you run the business. Now, Hindustan Unilever, if you ask me, it is running at 100% ROE. For 100 रुपया उनका capital डाला हुआ, 100 रुपया हर साल कमाता है. All right. For that is the kind of business which they are in. For what it means is, there are in those kind of businesses, the cyclicality will be very low because suddenly, COVID hit or economy slowdown happened. These businesses don't face that kind of challenges because the business what they are in are cash throwing businesses. So cyclicality in those businesses are low. But that is the beauty of the business, and also for them to grow the business. If they want to put more capital, they want to put a capacity. Always they are cash rich. They can put a new capacity and they can grow. And on that capacity, what they're adding also, they will be making 30% return on capital employed. So it is like a phenomenal business streams. Now, there is a defensive nature of businesses in India, what we have, right? FMCG, pharma. Now, there are other businesses called, global cyclical businesses like metals, oil and gas, and then, you have IT services businesses. All are, outside India businesses, many of them, or, India businesses which are impacted by the global prices. Like in the case of metals as well as oil and gas, the prices are determined globally, not determined in India. For import parity price and all those things is decided, and based on which the companies makes money. Now, it is a highly cyclical business because oil price can change depending upon the demand scenario globally, as well as the demand scenario in India also. Because India is the biggest importer of oil, if India decides to shut shop and say that next 20 days, 1 month lockdown, obviously oil price will crash. Which we have seen during the COVID time also. There are cyclical businesses like that. Now, cyclical businesses, generally speaking, a lot of cyclical businesses will not have enough cash because it's capital intensive. Like if you put up a steel plant or a cement plant, you need a lot of capital. And, the return on capital employed also is very low.
Yes.
And plus the asset turnover, say if you put 1,000 rupees in the asset to build, and asset turnover, how much turnover that you make out of that asset also is very, very low. It 1.2 times, 1.3 times is the maximum asset turnover a big cyclical company faces. So what happens is that in those businesses, the cash generation becomes a challenge. Right now, the question here is that whether those businesses are completely dud businesses which you should not touch. The answer is no. In that also, there are very highly efficient companies. There are very capital efficient companies within the steel sector also, within the zinc companies. Like that, you will have good cash rich companies within the metal space also. In a good economic cycle, these cyclical companies tend to do very well. Right, global growth, if it is picking up, then these global cyclical sectors will do well. The other part is that the domestic cyclical businesses, right? You have auto, cement, you have banking sector, you have capital goods, engineering, those kind of sectors. Those also is very, very capital intensive businesses. But auto to a certain extent is less capital intensive, but otherwise most of the sectors are very capital intensive, like construction, real estate, all are capital intensive business. There, the return on capital employed is not very, but you have to play the cycle well. Now, if you know that the business cycle is going to improve in India, now the question you asked is, whether the cash is king. The cash is king was the scenario for the last 10 years, right? And today, as we speak, the cash is, many non-cash or, not that cash rich business also will do very well in the next 5 years is my view.
Wow,
right?
great.
Because the cyclical upturn is happening in the economy. In that scenario, you sitting on only on cash rich businesses today might not be a very, very prudent idea. So it is you have to look at the valuation. Many cash-rich businesses today are trading at a steep valuation. Like FMCG, for example, 10 साल का highest multiple में trade हो रहा है. For ये भाव में खरीदेंगे तो किसको बेचूं?
सही बात है.
Right. For you have to buy cheap to sell expensive, as I mentioned. But
Right.
today the situation is very, very different. So it is not that always the cash-rich businesses will do well, but cash-rich business always will survive. For within metal sector also, I keep looking at low leverage metals companies. I will keep looking at companies which can deleverage in the next 2-3 years. Right. अभी ज़्यादा debt नहीं है, but next 2-3 years में deleverage हो सकता है. Then it can give multi-bagger returns. Right.
Wow.
For like that, you have to plan your investments. Not that all the cash-rich businesses at all points in time are great investments. Because gold also, if you buy at a wrong price, you can lose money. Right. For सोना भी तो right price में खरीदना पड़ता है.
Agree, completely agree. सर एक अभी वापस एक रैपिड राउंड हो जाए. So let's be ready now for the rapid round. So what is the most important when it comes to the money? Luck or risk?
Luck or?
Luck or risk?
Risk for sure. If you don't take care of the risk, obviously you will have a bad luck, right?
So what crazy things being a fund manager you do?
What crazy things?
Being a fund manager, what crazy things you do?
Yeah, crazy things. I am a little bit adventurous. I do bungee jumping and various things also whenever in the leisure time. But at the same, whenever I go for a holiday, I try to. For one is in diving is something which skydiving is something which I have not done, which I want to do at some point in time. For I keep in the bucket list, various things which I like to do. Otherwise, I'm a voracious reader. If I read a lot of books, so that is something which I like doing. That's
Great.
my Kindle is my is always with me when I'm traveling as well as.
Wow, great. Sir, what is the most important, getting wealthy or staying wealthy?
I think being wealthy is always good to have, but at the same time, the thrill to getting wealthy is different. But that keeps you motivated, keeps you. For I think many people who are really wealthy, they get the second generation goes for a toss because they don't pay attention to the money. We have seen extreme examples in the case of various business groups in India also. For once you are wealthy, then you become very complacent. Always be on the toes and be out of the comfort zone. That make you really the entire journey will be very rewarding.
Wow, great. One of the most important learning of your life for the retail investor in your closing remarks.
A lot of learnings actually. What to say? The key important thing I believe is that you have to don't believe in tips, right?
That is most important.
Don't believe in tips. If somebody gives you a tip, be very, very guarded. There is no free lunch in the markets, right? For somebody is telling that I am giving you this tip. It is a great buy for you, but that doesn't generally happen, right? For always be suspicious in the ideas that you are working on. Ask questions to yourself and see that whether you're doing the right thing or not. Be inquisitive about various facts and figures about a company before jumping into an IPO. Or because I've seen many of my friends, CA friends, calling me and saying that George, जब भी मैं stock खरीदता है वो तो नीचे जाता है. And whenever I sell that stock, it starts going up. So I kept on telling that you have bought at the wrong time. You are a chartered accountant, still you are doing all these kind of stupid things. What can I help you? Now you are asking me a question. Rather, you should have asked me whether the stock is good or not. I would have answered you. But instead, you bought it, and then after it is going down 50%, then now you feel like selling, and or you may have sold, and then you're saying that the stock is going up after I'm selling. For always be diligent about money. If money goes away, then there is no way you can make money in the investing world. You need to have capital, right? So if you have capital, then you can compound it. So don't be in a rush to make money. It's rather safeguard your money is the first priority and then make money, right? So there will be times in the markets where you have to be, sitting quiet and not making money. There are times where you have to you be aggressive and make money also. Like March 2020, you should have been aggressive. I wrote an article in Economic Times saying that, put all your wealth, sell your house and put money in equities. That was, and this is the best time to put money in equities. But eventually today, when you look back, it is like, it was very easier said than done.
You said me also this.
But whether you would have done it or not at that point in time, that's a question you have to ask.
Right.
Think of things, everything like today, for example, Corona wave, second wave is hitting and a lot of bad news and people are dying on one side and, you don't feel like investing. Right. So this is the time you have to put your emotions under control and invest into these hard times. Then you will have a very, very strong reaping time also coming through in the next 5 years. So I
True.
believe that good points where you can jump in and invest. There will be few occasions. I'll just mention what Warren Buffett mentioned in 2012 when he came to Delhi. He said, people asked, sir, how did you make a lot of wealth? So he said, every year, every 10 years, you get a boom and a bust, a big boom in the market and a big crash in the market. So you be sane enough to deal with this boom and bust. In a boom, you keep selling what you had bought in the previous bust, right? And when then bust happens, you keep buying for the next boom, right? You do that. He said 6 times in 60 years, I had an opportunity to play with the boom and bust, and that helped me to create this wealth. So be sane enough in between periods. Don't do overdo anything. Don't go into futures may short kar do, futures may long kar do, and all those things. There's no need to do all these things. Like March, if you had patience and good frame of mind, jump in and buy aggressively at that point in time. Right, I would have told you multiple times at that in March that this is the time to aggressively put money.
Yes.
That is the time you have to act and decisively act, and the results will be seen over a period of time. And those periods will come. That is the time I would say, yeah, as a mutual fund distributor, you have a big role to play to convince the investor at that point in time when the markets are tanking. Like today, for example, Corona scare is going on. People think that now economy is doomed and things like that. This is the time you have to convey to him, convey to the investors saying that this is the time to put money and and then wait for 5 years. 5 साल में हम पैसा बना के देंगे, बनाएगा एक बनाएगा. There is no choice there actually. So you have to jump in at the right time. As a retail investor, I think most of the time I've seen people go and put money at the wrong time.
True.
And that is where the biggest learning has to be there. And if they safeguard that, they can safeguard a lot of wealth. Now people, in my office also, many people say that I want to put money into Bitcoins. So I ask them,
Yes.
I ask them, what do you understand about Bitcoin? Who has started Bitcoin? Then Wikipedia, it says that who has started Bitcoin is not known yet. Right?
Actually,
And in that you go and put trillions of dollars. You look at the craziness, right? So people don't understand what is Bitcoin. People don't know who has started the Bitcoin. People don't know what is the future of Bitcoin. फिर भी
right.
उसमें जाके $3 trillion डालने के तैयार है.
Huh?
मतलब
Really crazy for Bitcoin now.
yeah, for people say that one lady was telling me that you buy Bitcoin and keep it, it will go up. So I said, why would it go up? In what basis you're saying that? So there is no basis for it. No, the day it crashes, only you can say that we are wrong. We have gone right, but till that time you will look like a fool because Bitcoin price is going up.
Completely.
There are crazy things happening in the world at the same time. You can sit quiet, peacefully think about the stock markets and invest into equities and make a lot of money also. So I would say, as a retail investor, look when you are putting money. If you think that markets have gone crazy in the previous 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, then just be guarded. You wait for a better opportune time to put money. When the newspapers say that Nifty has tanked at 1,000 points, 20,000, 2,000 points, 3,000 points, and Black Day and all those things, that could be the better day to enter the equity market.
Sir, another flip side, that what is the one spiritual aspect of money management for you?
Yeah, if I mentioned in the beginning also, see, I believe that it is a hard-earned money of individuals you are putting into in the funds. When I'm managing money, I feel that there is a high amount of trust people are posing on you, that you will be managing it well.
Right.
So, that is the biggest responsibility on me, and the fiduciary responsibility, as well as the personal responsibility on me to manage it well and ensure that it is not invested into the wrong stocks. And there is a high degree of responsibility which I have to showcase, and secondly, you have to play it very, very ethically, because many families can suffer if you do things wrongly, right? And many families can actually, their hard-earned money get lost if I take a bad call, or if I don't do diligence on my work. So I am always thinking that it's a big responsibility bestowed on me. I need to be careful. I need to, every passing day, I need to be ensuring that I do full justice to what I'm doing. The day I feel that I'm not doing justice to my job, that will be my last day in office.
It was a great time with you, sir. So much of authenticity, so much of trust factor, which I saw today. Since years together, actually, it's almost 6 years. I'm looking at you, but you're always very trustworthy and very authentic. Whenever I had a words with you, thank you very much, sir, for a great time with you. Thank you very much for sparing your time.
Thank you,
Very
Gajendra. It was nice talking to you, and we'll keep interacting in future as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. That's
and
great.
Also, thank you so much for the support. And I wish all your investors a great success.
Yes.
And I'm sure that you also work with a lot of care and a lot of enthusiasm.
Yes.
And I believe that that will display in the returns of the investors also in the coming years.
Yes,
and
sir.
I wish all good success to all the investors who are investing with you. Imperial Money Management. I think you will do a good job.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.